Alright, I'm going to make peanut butter pie. And this is especially for Katie and Lisa. They say that it's the best peanut butter pie, but I'm not sure. Anyway, we start out with 20 Oreos in my food processor. Grind it up. They need to be fairly fine. So basically it's like making a graham cracker crust, but we're using Oreos. Still a couple chunks in there, so we'll put it for a little bit longer. So you don't need quite as much butter when you use Oreos because the Oreo filling is greasy and helps hold the filling to the pie crust together. So I think I got all the chunks out of there. So now I'll just take my blade out and I'll mix in the butter. Make sure it's all broken up in there. Sometimes it kind of packs down in the corners. Oh, and I do have my 8-inch springform pan here ready to pour the crust into. So this is melted butter into the ground up crushed Oreos. If you don't have a food processor, you can just use a rolling pin or a meat mallet and put the Oreos in a freezer bag, gallon size freezer or storage bag, and pound them up that way. And you know, if it's a little bit chunky, it's not going to be that big of a deal. You want it to be fine enough that you can press it into the crust. So now this is all mixed up. Put this into my springform pan. And this is the best part because I use my hands to push it in, and then I get to lick my fingers. Press it down into here. You want it to be somewhat compacted, but not super compact. If you push it in too hard, the crust will be very hard and brittle, hard to cut through. But you want it to be packed enough that it holds together. So, and if you don't want to get your hands dirty, you can use the back side of a measuring cup. Anyway, this is ready to go in the oven at 350 degrees for about 10 minutes. So while the crust is cooking, we're going to make the chocolate topping for the pie because it needs to cool a little bit. So this is semi-sweet chocolate chips. You can use chopped up chocolate bar too, whatever you have on hand. And then this is hot cream that I heated up on the stove. So you pour that over the chocolate chips. And at first it kind of is hard to stir because it all clumps together as it melts. But it will become a very smooth, creamy chocolate. And this is the chocolate ganache for the top. You see the chocolate chips slowly melting as I stir the hot cream around. So no cooking, just cream and chocolate. That's all it is. So you stir this until it's smooth, and then you set it aside to cool a little bit while you make the filling for the peanut butter pie. I start with my stand mixer and the whisk attachment, heavy whipping cream in the bowl, and I use a flour sack dish towel to keep the cream from splashing out of my bowl because I got to turn it up on high here. So I just kind of put this over it, but we'll leave it off so you can see it. With so little cream in here, it doesn't splash out as much. Anyway, we beat this on high until it stiff peaks. Okay, so now we'll double check, make sure it's stiff peaks. Stiff peaks, you can tell it makes a peak but doesn't fall over. So now set this aside. And you can spoon it into another bowl, but I'm just going to use my other mixer bowl to make it a little faster. Put on there. And it doesn't matter if a little bit of whipping cream gets in the other part because it all gets mixed together. So now we put the cream cheese softened. Okay, we're making the filling for the peanut butter pie. I've got a block of softened cream cheese in there. I'll add the creamy peanut butter. You can use chunky peanut butter if you want, but we like the pie to be creamy, so we use the creamy. Plus, that's all I have. Nobody in my household likes the chunky. Okay, so there's the peanut butter, some powdered sugar, and vanilla. Alright, so now we whip this up. You have to start out slow. And start it up a little bit higher. Make sure it's all nice and smooth. It's not going to be fluffy yet until we add the whipped cream, but you want it to be all incorporated and smooth. So I'm going to give this one scrape down. Make sure all the peanut butter and cream cheese is evenly distributed. Okay, turn it back up to high. Okay, so now we add the whipped cream to the peanut butter mixture. And the whipping cream is unsweetened, but the rest of the peanut butter and has the powdered sugar and cream cheese is all sweet, so it all evens out. So now you just fold in the whipping cream into the peanut butter mixture. Try to get it all incorporated. Okay, we've got the filling all mixed up here. And there's, there's a few white streaks and whatnot, and it's okay. If you mix it too much, it'll actually flatten the filling. So, better to have a few white streaks than too dense a filling. So I spread this over the Oreo cookie crust. And try to smooth it out as much as possible. It's a little thick, so sometimes it's hard to get it smooth on the top. Ouch! So, mostly you want it to be as flat as possible because... Start it for me. Okay, so once you get that spread out as much as possible, now we go back to our whipping cream and chocolate, the chocolate ganache to go on top. Did you get me a clean spatula? Now just make sure it's all stirred up and smooth. See how nice and shiny it is? That's what you want right there. So then you just pour it over the top. And it will, for the most part, just kind of run into all the little crevices. You can just roll it around, and this will give your pie the nice smooth looking top if you want. So now you cover this with saran wrap and refrigerate it for at least 5 or 6 hours. But it's better if it gets to refrigerate overnight, and it can actually be frozen too at this point and comes out good.